guys. So I knew I had a video coming. I can always feel it coming on. But then when I start getting all flooded with all kinds of these ideas that are just, and I keep jotting it down and everything, I'm like, okay, I just need to get on screen and just talk. Get all this out of my head and on the paper. And those are called downloads. So that's the universe's way of trying to get the information out of you. It's like open your mouth, just get it out, just get it out. So this morning I pulled a card. I've been trying to do some deeper reflecting of my friendships, my relationships, like my relationship to even life, to everything. And just take a really good look at everything. I think it's just a reassessment time. You know what I mean? It's just, we're at a crazy time in our world. We're at a crazy time, even leveling up in our world, going to the next level. We're not sure what that entails. It feels exciting. I feel an element of excitement coming, but it also means that you got to start almost coming out of automatic robot mode in a way. We tend to go into autopilot and just kind of do the same thing all the time and in the same way, and we kind of get in a rut, I guess. Or it's not even, you might not even recognize it as a rut, but all of a sudden it's like, whoa, it's been a month just went by and I still haven't done anything about that situation, or I still haven't addressed this thing or whatever. And I feel like I'm getting nowhere. That's your rut. Being in a hamster wheel, just over and over and over, not really getting anywhere. So let me just take a look at my notes and see some of these things. Okay, so I'm just going to read this out loud. Okay. Sometimes we have to pull back away from life's distractions and take a look at our lives to see what's benefiting us and what's holding us back. Look at every area of your life and assess, what am I doing here and why? Like, what am I doing at this job? What am I doing in this friendship? What am I doing in this town? What am I doing, here? And why am I here? And what am I getting out of the behavior, avoidance, or situation? So why am I here? Why am I doing it? And how is it serving me? Is it serving me? So that's important. Like it's your ego that wants something out of something, right? So, and for now, a lot of us are in our egos, like probably. They just said 96%. It's gone up 1%. That's good. That's awesome. Because it was only 3% of the population that was enlightened or getting close to enlightenment, which I can talk about a little bit too. But now I guess we're at like, 4%. So 96% of the population has an operating ego. So, and the ego, just plays with us. So sometimes we have to just be the wise one, the parent, and pull back and take a good look at everything. And you need to ask about everything in your life. Just look at every single relationship that you have, or every habit that you have, or every behavior that you have, and ask yourself, why am I doing it? Is it serving me? Is it helping or hindering my journey? Everything needs to be helping your journey. If it's not helping your journey, you need to ditch it, because you need to, in order to keep leveling up and going to higher levels of consciousness, you have to keep dropping the ego. So you have to see the ego for what it is, identify it, or a friend can help you do that. And once you see it, once you see a pattern, once you see you're kind of addicted to drama, or addicted to a certain, only talking about that thing obsessively, or you can't get that thing off your mind, or that kind of thing, or you see yourself avoiding and drinking too much, or doing this too much, or doing that too much, or overeating, or whatever it is, the unhealthy behavior, that's coming from your ego. It's coming from your thoughts. Your thoughts are really your only problem. So, as we catch ourselves, and now we can't just It's not about going around being positive all the time. It's not about, that's impossible as long as you have an ego. If you're enlightened, sure, you can totally do that. But as long as you're a human being with an ego, then you're going to get triggered and you're going to have negativity happen, and that's okay. So you have to embrace that as well and recognize that there's always, two sides of something, which I'm about to read you something too that kind of pertains to that. But it's about embracing all of it, and it's also about being self-aware enough to catch yourself when you're being negative or when you're in a destructive thing, and pull back away from it and take a good look at it and say, what else could I choose instead? So in every moment, like when you go to do the habit, whatever the habit is, sit down and munch all night or whatever. It's one of the things I do when I'm in a thing, I'll sit down and just num, 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 and then I have to stop and go, well, whoa, 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 what am I doing? What else could I do? What else could I choose? That's a good way to put it. That doesn't have any judgment. You just catch yourself and you look at it and you just ask yourself, what else could I do right now? What other thing can I do right now rather than the same old thing I always do? What else could I do? I could go for a walk. I could read a book. I could do some Byron Katie work, on whatever it might be subconsciously stressing me out that I'm not being aware of. Let me bring my awareness to it and see what might be stressing me out that I, am not thinking of. Usually feel a little bit agitated or unsettled, when there's something kind of popping around that you're not addressing, or it'll manifest in a physical symptom as well. That can happen too. So I want to read this card that I got, Eternal Embrace. So you would think this is about love, which is funny too, because I was going to address that today too. And let me address that. Well, no, let me read this first and then we'll address love. Okay. Eternal embrace. Everything in the universe consists of complementary opposites. So there is no point in wishing that everyone around you was more like you, right? You think you're perfect. You think if only everybody would think like I do. If everybody had their shit together and they were more like me, then everything would be great. It's not true. Anyway, accept the universal truth and you will avoid, let's see. Okay, let me back that up again. Okay. So there's no point in wishing that everyone around you was more like you. Okay. Accept this universal truth and you will avoid further disappointment. Every time you identify a quality in another person that you don't like, pause for a moment and identify that same quality within yourself. Now, this is the projection I'm talking about all the time. Like if somebody ever puts you down or says that you're this or that or the other thing and it's negative, just imagine that person looking in the mirror. And that's actually what's going on, is they're actually saying about you what they feel about themselves. So they're not loving themselves. And it's not about judging them and saying they shouldn't be doing that. It's like it's then it could be, what saying comes to mind is see through others, not, or see others through rather than seeing through others. So it's not about catching somebody being a hypocrite or catching somebody in a lie or catching somebody like, oh, you're projecting and just leaving it at that. It's like, wow, how can I love that person like they don't love themselves right now? How can I get them to accept how they are? How can I help validate their experience, kind of thing? Time to think outside the box, right? You have identified that quality in another, then it is sure to exist also in you. Or if you've identified it, then it exists in you too. Otherwise, you wouldn't even see it or notice it. If you can't see it within yourself, it is simply because you have repressed that quality. Every quality, now this is good qualities too. So if you think, oh my gosh, that person is just so funny or they're so quick-witted, you are too. You've just suppressed it. So tap into that more. That's a good way of also recognizing the good that you have in you that you need to cultivate and create more of. Every quality you think you possess comes with an opposite quality attached to it. You can't have one without having the other. So read and reflect on the following set of qualities or feelings listed on the next page several times a day. As you go, you may want to add more qualities. Slowly reflect on each one until you're able to see each of these qualities within yourself. This is such a great exercise. When you're able to own and love each one equally, You will make a major breakthrough, which leads to a newfound sense of balance and well-being. All right, so we're going to do a little exercise. Are you ready? I want you to repeat after me as I say these things, okay? Hand on your heart. I love you when you're positive. I love you when you're positive. And I love you when you're negative. I love you even when you're negative. Okay, and the next one is, I love you when you're friendly. Of course, I love you when you're friendly. I love you when you're not friendly too, though. I do. I love you when you're not friendly too. Say this to yourself in your heart. I love you when you're happy, but I also love you when you're sad. I love you when you're sad. You can cry your eyes out to me if you want to. You can flat out be depressed if you want. It's okay to be sad. I love you when you're sad. It's so sweet. You guys hear her? She's crying. Cute. Oh my gosh. Okay. I love you when you're peaceful. Yeah, it's just so wonderful when you're peaceful. Man, it's so relaxing when you're peaceful. But I also love when you're aggressive. I love seeing your fierce nature. I love seeing when you just say it like it is and you just blurt it out, even if it hurts other people's feelings. I love you anyway. You're learning, you're stumbling, you're just doing the best you can. And I love you, aggressive, angry, or peaceful. I love you when you're confused. Oh, I love you when you're confused. And I also love you when you're clear-headed. Sometimes when you have these wonderful ideas and epiphanies, wow. And then when you're confused, wow, watching you just sort through all the different things and the angst and the anxiety and having to go to other people, I love that too. I love you so much. Okay, so I love you when you're physical in the 3D world, when you're all about the 3D world. Blah, 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 3D, 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 right? But I also love you when you're in the spiritual world. I love you when you're in the spiritual world and you're all, talking all the spiritual stuff, all the lingo, talking about love and compassion and all these wonderful things. And you sounding like a great leader. But I also love it when you fall on your face and when you're a hypocrite and when you are just all about 3D stuff, and you're stumbling around with life just like anybody else. And you're all about the drama, just like everybody else. So I love you when you're irresponsible and when you're responsible. There's a time for each. We can't all be responsible all the time. So I love you even when you're irresponsible. God forbid. I love you even when you're irresponsible. I love you even when you fall on your face. I love you even when you make huge mistakes that you feel stupid about. I love you even then. I love you even then. I love you even when you've still beat yourself up over mistakes years ago and you wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning stressed about it, tossing and turning. I love you even then. I love you when you're considerate and I love you when you're inconsiderate. I love you when you care about people's feelings and I love you when you don't care about people's feelings at all and you're just going to say it. I love you either way. I love you when you're politically correct and I love you when you're not and you don't even think about it. You're just saying it. I love you when you're angry and I love you when you're calm. I love you when you're flying off the handle and you're frustrated and you're slamming things around and swearing. Oh, I get it. And I love you. All right. I love you in your masculine side and I love you in your feminine side. I love you in your masculine side and your feminine side. Whichever side you're going to, I got you. I understand. I get it. Sometimes you got to be in the driver's seat. Sometimes you got to be receptive. Sometimes you feel like you got to force things. Other times you're totally chill, ready for it to just come to you when it does. And I love you either way, whichever tool you choose. I love you when you're kind, and I love you when you're cruel. I love you even when you're flat out mean. When you're a biatch, I love you even then. I love you when you scream and yell at people because you don't know what else to do. I love you when you do the worst of it. Those things that plague you, those things that just torment you. Oh, you yelled at your kid. You yelled at your cat. Oh my, how could you? Well, I love you anyway. You know, there should be nothing that you judge, nothing that you judge about yourself. It's just more of a matter of catching it, seeing it, and choosing different. What else could I do? What else could I do instead? I'm catching that I'm doing this all the time, and there's some kind of other option out there. What can I do instead? What can I choose better? Not even better, because that's a judgment too. But what else could I try? What else? What else could I do with that energy? Maybe I could go running. Maybe I could go out in nature. Maybe I can go sit in the backyard. Maybe I could go, to the store. Maybe I could just call a friend. Just what's possible. What else is possible? Okay, so that's what I was going to say too about, like, a lot of people use their true love, especially, in my profession and with what I do, specializing in true love. Just because they're your true love, don't put some kind of a big old fantasy bubble around it and say like it's something special. Like, I've had a lot. I do actually currently still have lots of true love suitors, quite a few. And I've been through the process. I've had the twin flame thing happen. I've had trust me, guys, when I hear your stories, they're the exact same thing that I've been through with everybody too. Not everybody experiences it, but I just am lucky enough that I've had it a number of times with a number of different people, that whole magical experience, all the synchronicities, the numbers, saying their name everywhere, seeing and them sending you messages and you getting all excited because they're communicating with you. And then this happens. And then, oh my gosh, and the ups and downs on the roller coaster, and they're my twin flame. I've been like so consumed with somebody that it's all I can think about. It's all I can talk about. It's all like, that's very ego to constantly be like attaching to something that desperately, like, I have to have this in order to be happy. Sometimes we put ourselves in a victim role and think that the way that your life is right now in your life is not good enough somehow, or I am a victim of my situation or my circumstances, and I need this person to come through for me, or I can't have the happy life that I want. That's the illusion of it. You're not going to pull your person in when you're in that desperate state. The whole objective to you lining up with your true love is to get to a point where if you're not being treated right now, I hear people say like, oh my gosh, how could you be loving somebody who isn't emotionally unavailable? Who's emotionally unavailable? And that, which is a judgment, but people judge. So, that is what happens in true love. Is a lot of times. Now, if you want to look more into this, you can. I have videos, a lot of videos I've done on it. If you go to my playlist all about true love, you can watch some of them, like the different types of true love, right? Some of them are really easy and some of them are just a pain in the ass. Just a pain. But the whole objective is to keep assessing your relationship to that person. And are you loving yourself enough for that to come through? And do you need it? You shouldn't need it. You shouldn't be looking at them as some kind of way to rescue you or get you out of a situation, or that's the greener side of the fence. The grass is not greener over there. You guys are still going to have conflict with that person. It's going to get old. You're going to get tired of them not taking you seriously. You are going to have all kinds of conflict that happens and all kinds of drama that happens over there. Don't think you're escaping all that stuff. So the objective is to find the peace within you now and to radically accept your circumstances now and find peace now. Eliminate all drama possible and just come into rest in your heart and to say, okay, looking around in my environment and the situation that I'm currently in, how do I make this the happiest I possibly can without my partner? Without my partner and without looking at their cards every day. I mean, sometimes it's interesting to take a look and it's kind of fun and it gives you encouragement. It makes you feel good before you go to sleep kind of thing. But, you know, again, it's sometimes you just have to pull back and you got to put the cards down and you got to not look at the videos anymore. And you just have to be like, whatever. If they're not giving back to me, they're obviously not ready. They're either too immature and they know it, or they're just not ready in their circumstances and they don't need the pressure of you pressuring them, or whatever they have going on. It doesn't even matter. If they're not loving you the way that you deserve to be loved, which is, you know, giving back to you, caring about your circumstances that you're in and doing something about it, not people pleasing anymore, because that's a big one for the masculines, the ones that are running away from the love. Oh yeah, that's one of the major things they have to overcome. And just like we want them to not be attracted to toxic people anymore, like those karmics that want to just ruin them basically, and they want to take them for everything they're worth, and they just treat them like garbage and stuff. We want them to get away from those toxic relationships. But in a way though, we also, as the divine feminines, have to get away from the toxicity of being dependent and being obsessed with it a bit and our ego about it. Okay. So everybody has to keep coming back to a heart-centered place. Am I loving myself in this situation? Does this situation make me feel good? If not, stop looking at their social media. Stop looking at anything. Don't settle for breadcrumbs. If they're sending out these little things just to keep you going, to keep the hope going, keep your attention on them so that you don't go visit this guy or you don't go get to know this guy, forget it. Don't fall for that. That's a scam, man. That is that. And it's especially if when I just said scam, especially if they're asking you for money. Oh my gosh. You know, I've heard some of you just tell me all these horrible stories about them asking for money. Your divine masculine would never and will never, ever ask you for money unless you guys are married. You know, unless you guys are in a relationship and you guys are both, you know, you're like an automatic brake system with money and with everything, with emotions, with, you know, you guys should, you know, both be kind of spotting each other through life. But that's once you're in a commitment and you guys are both contributing equally to it. Okay. Otherwise, don't have anything to do with it. And some of you guys are, you know, are getting catfished. And those catfishers, they would string you along for years and years and years and years and years and never give you a thing while they're totally making love to somebody else and running after fake situations and staying totally immature and being, you know, nothing you would want. So only give your attention right now. I mean, this is the assessment I'm talking about. Does that person deserve your attention right now with what they're giving to you? Do they deserve you focusing? You know who deserves your attention and time? Those who are actually giving to you. Those who are providing for you something. They're providing something for you that's beneficial to you, that feeds your soul, that makes you feel good, that helps you feel strong, that helps you feel supported. Those are the people who deserve your attention. So get away from those toxic people who are not giving attention to you. Yes, they may grow up someday. Yes, they may choose to give back to you someday, but this is not someday. Okay. And you can choose whether you want to be with them or not from your power in the future sometime, but we are in the now right now. Okay. So if somebody is giving to you right now if they're being vulnerable with you, if they're being kind to you, and if they're putting the effort forth to try to get to know you now, drop anybody else. Okay. Just drop them. Because once you commit to and give your heart to this other person, they're the ones who deserve it. And the other guys are just going to fade away in the background. And you're going to be the one that got away. But don't even worry about that. Do not care about that. There is not just one true love. I'm telling you guys. There is one after the other, after the other, after the other. And you go with the one who comes forward with kindness and compassion and shares as much with you as you do with them. That you guys are an equal partnership. That's what you're looking for. So no matter what kind of, take any labels of it off. And sometimes you just have to break away from all of the toxic, anything negative, anything that makes you feel negative. And if you're trying to figure a situation out or wonder what it's about, or wonder if they're catfishing you or not, or wondering if they're really in it, stop being so patient with it. Stop being so tolerant of that ill behavior. If they're being childish and immature and they're not willing to talk to you and they're not willing to actually put their heart out there and be vulnerable or whatever. I've said that a million times. Vulnerable. If they're not, okay, so here's my list too. This is for friendships and relationships right now. So here's some things to ponder. Okay? Are you equally vulnerable with each other? Both of you. Now this is, it could be friendship or it could be romance, but are they equally vulnerable with you? Are they both sharing insecurities and weaknesses? Are you guys both saying, I feel kind of scared and insecure about this? And the other one says, yeah, I do too. Sometimes I feel like I'm too blah, 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 blah. No, you're not too blah, blah, blah. I see it as a good thing. There should be some interactions about trying to discover deeper truths about yourselves through bouncing it off of each other in a supportive, loving way. Like, oh, that's ridiculous. You do that. That's not what I'm talking about. This is like validating one another and helping each other even see deeper truths that you're not able to see with yourself. Sometimes I feel like I give too much to this other person, and and yeah, I totally get that. I've done that before too. And here's, maybe try looking at it like this, or maybe, if they're asking advice, otherwise just, yeah, I totally get it. Just validating what they feel. I totally get that. I get it. I get why you would feel that way completely. So, and then sometimes they just want to be validated only and not have any advice given, but just hear it out and be like, man, totally. That should be interesting to process. Maybe you're learning that so you can share it with other people and help other people with that. Help them to see it in a positive light so that they can work through it even within themselves. They don't necessarily need the answers. They just are like, maybe this is helping you to, hone in on your intuitive skills, or maybe it's helping you to, this or that. So help them to see a positive thing. If you, if you have a setback, so a moment where you're just gonna, whoa, what was that? If you have a setback, do they open up or do they close off? So do they get excited? Do they get as excited about your victories as you do? Or is it like one of you is like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, and the other one's like, oh yeah, that's nice. Is it like you're like an 8 and they're like a 3? Why? Why would that be? Do they strive to understand you and bring further clarity? Wow. So, you did that. All right. Or you just said that, or you think that I did this. Tell me more about that. I want to understand you. What happened in your history that caused that? Or what makes you think that? Because maybe I could work on myself. Maybe there's something, maybe I can see something about myself I didn't recognize before. Maybe let's take a look at this. I wonder, because I really want us to be close. I really want us to have to trust each other and have rapport. So what can I do? Do they listen and validate, or do they turn it back around to making it about them? So sometimes we listen and we're like, maybe even one of you says something, oh, this wonderful thing happened. Oh yeah, well, those wonderful things happen to me too, even times 10, times 100. Or, oh man, I have this hard thing that's happening. Oh, well, I've had it way worse than that. Oh, let me tell you, it's like they steal it away from you instead of like validating and saying, wow, I feel for you. I feel for you. Do you need some advice? Do you want me to recommend something? Or I know you can work it through. I have total confidence in you, that kind of thing. Do they appreciate what you give like you would if they gave it to you? See how they react to things that you give to them. And if you were in their shoes, would that be the reaction that you would have? Do they give back equally? So you give to them, they give back to you, and it goes back and forth, and it feels fair, even, equal. It feels balanced. Do they seem to really care? Or is it more like dismissive, or do they kind of sound like even monotonous and like a monotone, or just kind of like they're just reciting it or reading it off a script, or that type of thing, like unfeeling. um do they ask you how they can best support you? Okay, so then now that I have read all those things off about this friend that you're involved with, or this relationship you're involved with, now I want you to take a look at yourself. And now this is a good thing to do, is to always reflect. Like we said in the beginning, always take a look at yourself, right? So here's something you can ask yourself. If you have a setback with this person, do you open up or close off? And why? 2, do you get as excited as they are about their victories? And if not, why? Do you strive to understand them and bring further clarity? Or do you just jump to conclusions? Well, you better heal that. That's kind of your problem. Um, do you listen and validate, or do you turn it back around and make it about you? Oh, yeah, that's cool. But me, now that's what I want to talk about. Do you appreciate what they give like they would if you gave it to them? So do you appreciate what they give to you like they would appreciate if you gave the same thing to them? Do you give back equally? Are you giving to them as much as they're giving to you, or where it's equally valuable? Do you show that you really care? Do you ask how you can best support them? What can I do for you to make this better? Okay. So, I finished the Spirit Talk deck finally. Yes. So, I wanted to just get some numbers in right now. They're just numbered there. I have the index cards, but they're different. Some of them are different than the ones that are in the computer. So I'm just going to go by the computer, and the ones in the computer are numbered. So I just want to read some of these numbers off for you as kind of a message from Spirit right now about what we've been talking about. So 5. Okay. Yes, a move or a trip would do you a world of good. So if you've been thinking, like, maybe you're surrounded by drama, your whole family's there and it's all drama, 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 or maybe you realize that where you live, or where maybe you want to move closer to healthier minded people. Maybe you want to move from a place where there's all this stuff going down that it's very negative and it doesn't feel very good, and you've reassessed it and you're like, I'm going to go over here where I know that I'm being supported by my friends or my family, and I'm going to feel good. I'm going to have what I need from them, that the emotional fulfillment. 17. You have a voice and a heart that wants to use it, so set it free. Okay, so be speaking your piece, be telling your friends and your family or whatever what you truly feel and what you truly think. They can't really get to know you if you're not vulnerable and if you don't put yourself out there authentically. That kind of hurt my feelings, but I know I need to reflect on this for a minute. And I don't, I want to see what I can get, what gold I can get out of it. I want to see what good I can get out of this. And I want to come out of this better from it, You've done nothing wrong. So don't judge yourself either. Don't judge the other person. Don't judge yourself. Go back and just put your hand on your heart. I love you even when you've judged your friend. I love you even when you've made them wrong. I love you even when you went down that list and you saw that you're a really shitty friend. I love you even when that's happened. Okay. You can always start over again too. Okay, 46. You're getting squeezed out of your comfort zone to spread your wings and fly. Throw your inhibitions out the window and go. Sometimes your friendships will go sour, again, for that leveling up. Sometimes you see things that you didn't see before so that you can get ready and be like, wow, I see it so clearly now. Oh my gosh. They're doing this to me, or they're doing that to me, or they're gaslighting me. They're trying to make me wrong for sharing my feelings when they're the ones who just aren't being vulnerable, So you're getting squeezed out of there, maybe to have, because you don't need them in the next chapter. You don't need them, and they would be drama for you, or they would be a trouble for you, or they would turn on you, or that, it's ultimately not good for you. Like, it'll save your butt. Spirit's always got your back that way. 51. Is this 51 or 61? I think that says 61, but I guess I'm supposed to read that too. Oh, yeah, this situation is just coming back around so you can choose differently and pass the test this time. You have evolved past this. You just need to own it. Wow. So maybe, like in that case, if you've been gaslit before, maybe even in romantic relationships, and now you find that your friend is gaslighting you, you're like, oh, why do I keep falling for that? Why do I keep, putting myself out there more than the other person gives vulnerability back? Or why am I in a relationship where the person refuses to take a look at themselves and what they are doing to contribute to the issue or to the problem? Why do I keep choosing this? And what do I have some kind of guilt or shame or something inside of me that needs healing so that I can choose healthier? Or what dupes me? What duped me into falling for that? What did I feel like I needed out of that relationship? Why was that relationship so important to me that I held on to it, even though I could tell that there was some unhealthy stuff going on there? Okay, so number 51 is affirm through visualization, belief, and saying it out loud that you have all that you need, and it will appear in your reality. Doubt is the only thing that can slow its arrival. So with the true love thing, just affirm and visualize and believe and say it out loud. You have everything that you need. Thank you, God, so much that I have a partner who reciprocates, someone who calls me back, somebody who texts me back, somebody who cherishes me, somebody who isn't just jealous. I mean, that's so immature. Somebody who's not just jealous. I mean, some people are, but he's jealous. Like, that's a good thing. But they send you flowers on special occasions. They let you know that you are special to them. They do the things that matter to the heart. They show vulnerability. Thank you, God, for giving me somebody who's more of an equal, who's going to put more work in, like I am. Somebody who's going to meet me at that honesty and authenticity that I've been putting out. Thank you, God, so much that I finally have that man that I'm so proud to sleep next to and to wake up with every morning. Thank you, God, so much that I have that camaraderie and that support and that rapport with somebody that just feels, oh man, I'm just so grateful for this guy. Just put it out there like it's already happened. And then stop doubting it. Don't have to look at this and look at that and have the validation over here and talk about it all the time and try to figure it out and all that kind of stuff. That's all doubt, right? So stop doubting it. Just know that it's coming. Just affirm it and know that it's coming, and don't care who it comes from or to or through. Don't attach to a person. Just attach to, like, it could be that person. That'd be wonderful, right? Because you love the person. But make it more about how you feel, how you want to feel, and pray and affirm it as if it's already happened. And just know that it's coming, and don't, it doesn't matter who comes through. Okay. 72. Your mind may be put at ease if you could just do some more research on this. If you just do some research on this. So maybe you have been thinking about a move or something, or maybe you've been thinking about doing this or that or the other thing to make some healthy changes. So maybe the thing to do is to just do some research until you feel comfortable. Or maybe just find out, what ducks you have to have in a row in order to make yourself feel comfortable about making the change. Or maybe you'll be put at ease because you do some research into finding more information out about your person, asking them more questions, getting more clarity, having a good heart-to-heart talk about how you each feel. That could be research too, just looking further into something. 81, having a good cry, then putting your hand on your heart and saying, I love you, can be all that you need. So I feel like some of you might go away from this talk and realize something that you're finally able to admit to yourself and have a good cry over. So, and it's just that leveling up thing. It's just just purge it, have a good cry, see it for what it is, be willing to see it for what it is, do some reflecting on it, and be done. Then you'll see more clearly in the future. 78. Your objective right now is to continue your healing work as everything else is being worked out behind the scenes. Just focus on you. Exactly. Just keep coming back. I just got 55. Okay, just keep coming back to you, though. You'll be supported no matter the decision that you make. Just take it one step at a time and know that you're being led. So don't glom onto anything. Don't hang on to anything as the grass being greener on the other side. If only I could have that thing. There is no goal to reach that's going to make you happier. You have to create your happiness and your peace right now. With every decision that you make, every moment of every day, just keep asking yourself, is this benefiting me? Is this helping me? Because if not, what else could I do? What else can I do right now that would feel good? Okay. So I know this is totally off subject, but I'm going to add it to it because add it to this talk because I don't want to do just a video just for this. So, but I wanted to say also, there are a lot of people going into hospitals right now or not wanting to go into hospitals right now. There's an issue with hospitals right now. Okay. And these are things that we've never had to face before. And they're things that are very, very wrong. They're things that are very, that need to be set right in the times to come. One of those things is that you can't visit your person in the hospital. Anybody who's in the hospital, you can't visit them. There's glass between you guys. You guys cannot touch. And that's part of a healthy relationship. It's part of healthy healing. If somebody's ever struggling, they're in a coma. I mean, this has been going on forever. If you ever, like in the past, if anybody was ever sick or having any kind of, even in a coma, you could go in and hold their hand and talk to them and it would help them come out of the coma. The bad guys know this. And that's why they're keeping you guys separated. It's not for your safety. It's not for your health. It's not for the other person's health. It is because they don't, The other thing they're not doing for your health, which they're pretending that they're doing for your health, is that they will not listen to any alternative medicine. They won't listen. They will absolutely. They have been told and programmed to only give you this, or this, period, end of story. It's because they're getting paid for it. They're getting paid for it. And those that aren't getting paid for it are being just told what to do and to not break that. So it's this domineering thing that they're being fed. That's a line of baloney. So we've always, up until this point, we've always had our rights. We've always had the ability to choose something different. I don't like that way that I want to get a second opinion. I want to get a third opinion. I really don't want, but in our world today, unfortunately, it's like no matter what doctor you go to, they're going to say this, or this, because they have to, kind of thing. I mean, hopefully you can find a doctor who isn't like that, but it's like that. Unfortunately, that's the situation right now. And a lot of us who know the truth, like so a lot of people are coming to me saying that they either have somebody who is in the hospital right now that they cannot visit because of these ridiculous restrictions that are just wrong, or, and that's okay, because this is part of what needs to happen to awaken everybody, right? So still, accept the way that it is right now because it has its purpose, but it's also something we can do something about. Like we can get an advocate to work on our behalf, or it could be also that you end up in the hospital and you're not being listened to, and you don't have those medications, or you don't have the stuff that'll work. They're going to give you the poison instead. No, we insist you take the poison. You have one of 3 poisons you can take, but you must take a poison. So, it's a very uncomfortable situation, what's going on in hospitals right now. It's pretty much, it's not a good place to be unless you have somebody who has your back with you in the field, who will fight for you to have the correct medicine that actually will help you heal and get better. Some of you have been lucky enough to actually make it through the hospital situation and live. If that's happened to you, then good for you. Congratulations, because it's getting rare, or it is rare right now in these current circumstances. So I want to say a prayer for everybody involved with hospitals. I want to say a prayer for all the different scenarios, the doctors who are getting paid to do this, who are going to get in serious legal trouble in the future for doing that, for the Holocaust, for this current Holocaust going on, for them killing patients on purpose to be paid, to get paid. Okay, number 2, for the nurses that feel like they have to go along with this, even though they know that it's totally wrong, even though they want to consider the patients and maybe using an alternative method, and they feel like they can't because they'll lose their job or whatever. And I want to pray for the people who are the spouses of the people who are in the hospitals that are just stressed out of their mind because they can't make it in to see their person. And I want to pray for the person who's in the bed, who's in the hospital bed, who's not being listened to, and they're being forced to take things that are actually very harmful to them and a lot of times killing them. So I want to pray for the whole situation, okay? Because it is a situation right now. So, and I want to pray for, just adding in there, praying for those who are at home, scared to death to go to the hospitals because they know that they're trying to kill people in the hospitals, intentionally or not, either through brainwashing or getting money. But those who are staying home when they actually need medical care, or when they don't need medical care, but they need healing, they need, help, to start looking into alternative options, to start reaching out to someone and say, I have these symptoms and I have these things that are going on. Even reaching out to me, and saying, what can I do? How can I get better? Is there something that I could be taking right now that's an alternative thing, a natural thing, an organic thing? We really want to be reaching for organic, natural things right now. We do not want to go to pharmaceuticals. If you're on pharmaceuticals, you absolutely want to get off of them. And I don't care what you got to go through when you detox from them, okay? And some of you have been like, well, you don't realize what you go through when you get off this thing. Well, you're going to have to go through it anyway, because we're going into the new earth, and there's no way in hell you guys are going to be taking those drugs with you, okay? We're going into a telepathic time of, you cannot expect to level up in life and go into the 5D clinging on to your drugs. Let it go. Go to a natural food store or a natural place, and walk in there to somebody who's educated and you say, this is the drug that I'm on. What can I do? What can I take that would support me in coming off of it? That's what you do. And I've done that myself. And I don't say anything to you guys that I wouldn't do myself or that I haven't done myself. I've been on sleeping pills. I was on Valium for a while, years ago. I was in a very, very toxic relationship, a very abusive relationship, really. And and I was taking all these drugs to cope with it. But I chose Qigong, Byron Katie's work, and I I did exactly what I just told you to do. I said, how do I get off of this in a natural way? And doing Byron Katie's work really helps to support you emotionally going through, getting off of it. And the Qigong just offers you a lot of peace. And it also just kind of flushes out your system of negativity and the toxicity and all of it. And it brings you, it also just helps you in the leveling up. It's a, I don't know, it just recharges your batteries too. So, all right, 65. That's funny because I just said this earlier. It's not about always being positive. Negativity is just part of still having an ego. It's about catching yourself being negative and picking yourself back up again as quickly as you can and turning the situation around. I just felt drawn to 71. Yeah, some of you need to hear this. Don't be afraid to rely on others to aid you at a time of need. Accept a gift or take a compliment. People feel good when they give. Let them do it. In doing so, you encourage all humanity to care. So don't be pushing away things that are coming to you either. Okay, so 39. Okay, it's what you think and say. Okay, it is what you think and say it is. Be aware of what you're affirming because you're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. Use an affirmation to replace this energy with. So, so many people are used to complaining as a normal part of life. Like, how do I even have a friendship with somebody if I'm not complaining? I remember saying that to somebody, like saying that to one of my mentors. Like, you have friendships with people and you guys don't complain about anything? And she just kind of looked at me like, I'm like, well, I thought that's what friendships are. You just go complain about stuff that's going wrong, and she just kind of laughed. I was like, what do you guys even talk about? She was like, really cool ideas that we have that we're going to work on, projects that we have. We dream about what we're going to be doing later. We're going to, do this, that, and the other thing. We talk about ways that we're evolving and that we're growing as people and things we're moving past and, ideas and stuff like that. I'm like, oh. So anyway, but sometimes it's just we don't even realize so we have to just be able to catch ourselves saying all these things like, oh, and it's like you can almost feel the energy of it coming out of somebody's mouth. Oh, well, that's just always the way that it is, and you're just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Say something different, replace that with something different and say it again. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be this way. Oh, well, you don't know what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with this, that, and the other thing. Are you though? Because when you say that, yeah, you're dealing with that thing, but maybe say something different. Maybe you won't be dealing with that anymore. Watch what's coming out of your mouth. Everything that's coming out of your mouth. Don't just affirm things that you've always heard and keep it alive by repeating it over and over. Just because it may have been even true yesterday doesn't mean it's true today. Or just because it was true a year ago doesn't mean that it's still true. It could be totally gone, but because you keep repeating it over and over and over and over and over again, it's still there. You've really anchored it in. Anyway, so let me do a prayer, getting back to the topic we're talking about right now. Get back to a prayer here about, all the hospital situations, okay? And for everybody to find alternative solutions, healthy, organic, natural solutions to everything going on. And to help you find those solutions that you need if you're at home and you're scared to go to the hospital, okay? Hamama na taken sase shela. Hela came po mama na ay. Alansan se shikina heken. Hala mo on. Tai la an se. Shishi hit mama na ay. Tai tai ke san se shikin tai sona upona. Hala he na take he na ike. Shan shan na haila po amaan. So I saw a bunch of these doctors getting plucked out of hospitals just left and right. Just boom, boom, boom. You're out of here. You're out of here. You're out of here. Like finding out that they got paid $30,000 a head for calling it the illness, which is happening. Not everywhere, but it's happening. Like, yeah. So those people are going to be in some serious trouble. They're going to be going to jail. And when that happens, those of you who are nurses that were arguing with it, saying this isn't right, we should allow patients to have the ability to choose for themselves. They should be able to have alternative options if they want. They should be able to have their family visit them. If they want to put themselves at risk, that's their own choice, whatever. As long as you have a mask on, you'll be safe, right? So let them in with a mask on if that makes them feel better. It's so funny they think that does anything. I believed that for like a minute, you guys, about a minute. And then I was just like, wait, germs could get around that. What? Especially like see people wear like the plastic shields. It's like, really? You think the germs are just going to go and they're just going to stick right there and not go around the side? So sorry. This whole thing is just so damn funny. Okay, so anyway. What was I even saying? Just have a good laugh, just have a good laugh at it all. The whole thing is silly and ridiculous. It's all going to come to light. These guys are going to jail. And that's what I was going to say is these people who were speaking truth and trying to get the right thing to happen, you guys are going to be hired back, or you're going to be asked to help with med beds and things like that. You're going to be asked to help out with clinics and things. They're going to remember you. They're going to see the integrity that you had, and they're going to invite you back, or somebody will. Somebody will have heard what you did or whatever, and you're going to be invited back, and or you're going to feel safe to come back because people have their freaking sanity back. They have their brains back, and they're not being controlled, and they're not being robots, brainwashed robots, just doing what they're told that they have to do or whatever, If you nurses who are in that position right now, man, I feel for you. Nobody wants to lose their job, but at the same time, we're in a Holocaust. This is a Holocaust. So if you want to save our world and our humanity, then you really do have to we all have to sacrifice something. There's not anybody who's not going to be sacrificing something in this, guys. You got to sacrifice at least your comfort in some way, shape, or form, and say no to Amazon sometimes. Say no to eating out sometimes. Say no to, there's some basic way. If you watch Dear Danny, man, he goes off on it. The only thing Dear Danny doesn't do that I would complain about is that he doesn't give you solutions. What do you do instead, Mr. Mountain Man, who gets to apparently conveniently be up in the mountains, away from it all? Don't we all wish we could do that? Not everybody's in that position. But, we can do what we can do to start changing our world and to protest what's going on. We can... there are so many different, share your comments below on different things that people can do to get more off grid or to not contribute to these tyrannical things. In which ways, if you could list below in the comments, in which ways are you standing up against the system? In which ways, because sometimes we do it in little ways, sometimes we do it in big ways. We've got to get past our comfort zone in some way, shape, or form right now in our lives to help make a difference in what's happening right now, to help bring us faster into the new earth. The more you guys are giving into this and complying to the bullies, in whichever way that is, and letting bad companies get away with their ill behavior, and the hospitals and everything, letting them get away with that instead of picketing out front and just being let us see our families. Let us see our loved ones. Who are you to keep us from that? Who gave you that decision? That's my decision. That's our decision to make. It's like, so if you could please list down below, in which way are you getting past your comfort zone? Growing your own garden, it could be that, growing your own garden, researching on how to do that, and starting to do that. What are you doing right now to try to make a difference in this world? What are you doing to rebel? What are you doing to peacefully rebel? What are you doing to try to dismantle and dissolve the current system and that's limping along right now on its last leg? But what are you doing to help seal the deal? Bella's being so cute. She's laying on her back, flopping around. You're so cute, honey. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this talk and got something out of it. And yeah, let's help inspire each other. List all that you can about any of this that I talked about. Share your own experiences and share any epiphanies that you had, or share, any ideas that you have, and or just share of your own experience, of what you're doing to help out in your own way. I know some of you are even actually going to these, like some of you in Australia or in Canada are going to join the convoys and stuff. That's awesome. Awesome. So let's inspire each other. Let's share what we're doing. I'm trying to do all that I just mentioned. I'm trying to give small businesses my business rather than Amazon. I still go to Amazon for some specialty stuff, but I'm also trying to get myself away from any of the specialty stuff. Do you know what I mean? By creating something on my own, or making it on my own, or like getting it somewhere else, or, an alternative solution or whatever it is. So I'm doing that, trying not to eat out as much. Yeah. For a little bit there, I was going to fast food sometimes, but I was also listening to my intuition. Is it safe to go there? Is this okay? Or should I go to another place? So it's all being intuitively guided and whatnot, but which is another step that I've been taking, is being more intuitive about the decisions that I'm making in every little way, shape, and form. Taking different supplements to try to just stay as healthy as I possibly can. Just making healthy decisions every way that I can. Ouch. I've changed some habits myself. I've taken a good look at, and reevaluated my relationships. I'm on my channel here, putting myself out here like this. He's so sweet. Yeah. So, and I'm going to be having a raised garden bed. I'm going to raise my own vegetables too. Yeah, more of a focus. The biggest shift has been to actually give my business to local businesses, and those that don't force you to wear a mask, or that aren't giving into all this stuff. So have yourselves a beautiful day, guys, and please let's help support each other through this crazy time, and give each other some good ideas, some good tangible things that we can do to help make things better and to expedite the end of this time and the beginning of a new, more harmonious, more joyful, more free time that we're coming up to. Okay, guys. Oh, let me do a general blessing for you guys real quick. A blessing. See, and I'm working on changing my language. That's another thing. I'm working on educating myself about sovereignty as well in many different ways. I'm watching a lot of videos, learning things I've never known before. So I'm stretching myself, and I am leveling up. I'm leveling up. I can feel it. And yeah, just keep doing your research and keep stretching yourself in any way that you can. Hamanatain sa se shi la heke pum. Haba anatakins shi ina hai. Hapa hama anake. She nate insa and say like a tan pomomo on. Ha like ins shake. Hapama anai. aka sassy. Beautiful cutie. All right, guys, have a good one, and I'll talk to you later.